Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report, and starting with the ASX 200 here, just on the bigger picture here. We've been looking at the move from the high here moving down, and the move down through here appears to be in 5 waves. So we were looking for a corrective wave here, and the corrective wave here has obviously, it's quite a volatile sideways pattern here. However, there's a few things that that we can sort of take from this. Is that it's possible that this, in first instance, we have to look at all the counts, and then we have to come up with a strategy. So it's possible for this to be an A wave here, a B wave here, and then a C wave where that B is here. So we've got an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here, and then we move straight up, making new highs here. So that's possible. I can't rule that out, but I'd need to gather more evidence for that in a trend up here, if that was going to be the case. As it stands at the moment, this can play out as an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here for the B wave, with the triangle here that we've been working in wave B, which would be correct, and then we'd be looking for a move down in wave C here to make wave 4 here. In terms of making wave 4 here and then moving up through here, I need to chuck another spanner in the works as well, and it's possible that we have a much larger correction in play to come down here further, with this having a wave B here, because we've only counted 3 waves moving up here as 1, 2 and 3 here, which can also be an A, B and C wave to make up a larger B wave. So it is possible for it to drop further through here. So I'm aware of that as well here. I'm also aware that the possibility of this correction getting a bit larger here, in terms of an A wave down to here, and then a B wave all the way over here, and then this would make here, this would make this an A wave here, a B wave here in a triangle, and then 5 waves up here to make this wave C here, and then move down from here. So we've got a lot on our plate here at the moment. We know that the index pretty much follows the banking sector. We know CBA has had some problems, which were announced on Friday, and they've dropped 5%, triggering the first move to the downside. So we need to be aware of that. We can have a look at that in a moment, but just to sort of resolve this little area through here in terms of strategy, there's a couple of things that would make it weak, and presenting short trade setups and situations where it can show long trades as well. So just going into the 4-hour chart here, just to have a look at the complexity of this pattern across here, that can go in many different ways, unfortunately, but there's a few things that stand out. In a nutshell, we can use 5-7 to short. Now we've had these lower lows here that have been sort of pushing back in here as such, but we've got a low here, here and here. So the next time this is breached here, then that would be a short trade. We can even get that short trade happening with 5,720 as a retested resistance. So that becomes a retested resistance. We can get the first trade in above the 5,700, and then we can start adding under here as well. So this is presenting a bearish picture with wave B here, then down for 1 and back for 2. This would be down for 1 and back for 2 here. That comes back up, the 50-60% area here comes back up to about 57.50. Let's just go to, I'm sure which I've got on the hour or 2 hour on the bearish side. Yeah, this is it here. So basically here, the if we call this down for 1, back for 2 here, and down for 1 here, and then back for 2 here, in terms of the 50-60% retracement level from that high to that low here, then we can look at this 57.50 here as a bit of a catalyst. If we get support here, then we can move from that point here. this move up here so far, this is 5 waves up here, then a pullback, and then there's a little 5 waves here. So it could be an A and a B and a C here and just fail from here as well. So if it was going to be bullish, we could look at this as 1 and 2 in here, and then this is like the 3rd wave coming up here. So there would be a 4th and a 5th here. So if we get those 5 waves here, we don't necessarily have to make a move at that stage, because we'd still get a corrective pattern here and then a move up from there. But otherwise it can fail pretty much from this area here and move down. So we're getting into a bit of a point here now where we need to, the market is going to break out from here, and we need to be aware of both sides and be flexible and be able to move from those two sides there. On the bullish side here, just on the 2-hour chart that we've been looking at here, this is this kind of looks after the move to the upside if it's going to be there. And then from this low here, it's this counts as 5 waves here. We had it as wave C in the other move, but here it can be wave 1. We can look at this as wave 2. We can also look at this as wave 1, and then this wave 2 here. In fact, well, I won't get into too much detail there. I'll go into the tick chart. So it's possible for this market to move up. So as you could see here, that on the midpoint here is quite important here, the 57.50 here. The market's traded up here before, of course, but each time it's come back, it's never really found support on this here. So that's what we'd have to look for. We'd have to, in some way, to see it, sort of do its thing and move up here, and then sort of fade and have its corrections, and that would give us the trigger to the upside once that high is in place there. That might take 2 days to fall into place. It may be just today, but Friday wasn't really a bullish day because of CBA. But CBA came down quickly, but the other banks, they were pulled down a little bit, but not very much, So we need to take that on board as well, not get lost in that. But certainly it's created a break to the downside, CBA, but it never really pulled this market down as much either, because we're still bullish in the metals market as well. So if we look at iron ore, for instance, here, just while we're here, this particular move up through here is not finished yet. I know that it's getting a bit toppy here, and we're getting closer to a 50-60% retracement level up here for iron ore. We can probably see it come off a bit, come back, and the same with copper as well. But the actual trend up here is not finished yet, so we know that we're going to be supported from the resources side of things. So it's just about the bank. So coming in here, before we look at the banks, just coming into a tick chart here, which will have both counts on them, the bearish and the bullish. So I think last time we spoke, we had this up as wave 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, and looking for this to move up. Well, it's moved up okay, and we can see we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1, back for wave 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then it looks like it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So it's got it's got a bit more to go up here, but how far will it go? So this today will be a bit of a sign for this. So because this move down, this is where it can kind of get a bit tricky. This move down through here, really, it could be counted as 5 waves as well. So it would be wave 1 and 2 here, wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here, and then down for wave 5 here. So this can be 5 waves down here. That's the way that it can be counted. So these are the things in this pattern across here that we're sort of left with in a way to try and sort of figure out. But I do know that it's taking a lot of work, and I do understand too that this whole pattern across here is diminishing to a point where it will make a move one way or the other, and we may not be able to get it right down to the last tick, but the way that we're going, we can just keep sort of teasing it out and then moving into it slowly as we understand it more. And yeah, so I don't think it's a big deal. I just think this is a time where patience is required, and observation, and then a bit of logic in moving into it. Now, let's have a quick look at the banks. CBA, as you've probably heard if you've followed the news a little bit. I don't follow it that much. It takes up too much of my time. I just buy the paper once a week and look at a few headlines here and there. But this came out on Friday here that, CBA hadn't been tracking funds moving in and out of their ATM machines and so on. But for us, I thought there may have been another little push up here because ANZ and WBC, they've got possibilities of having another little move up. So I thought that it was possible for this to move up here. But at the same time, we had a count that we had as an A and a B and a C wave moving in here. They were a bit rough, and it could be counted differently. And in fact, I much prefer to have this over here like this here. And it makes quite nice for wave 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here and 5 here. That was the best way to count that. The thing is now is it's down at the 61.8% mark from that high, that low to that high here. So we're at the 61.8 mark. So, I mean, really, we have to bring it into the 80 here. And there might be a little rally here, but we'd have to look at it moving down further as well. There is a possibility that with this particular market here, this can either be an A wave here, a B wave here, and then 5 waves for a C wave here, and then a move up from that point. Okay, so that's possible. It's also possible here too, which has been my sort of primary count, is if I can just remove that here, is this to move down here in terms of a wave 3 coming down here. So a wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5 coming down through here. So that's the way that we'd always sort of held this position here. And this is much the same as for Westpac as well. So we were looking down for one, and the same for ANZ as well. This move up through here, we were looking at it as a possible wave 2 rally. This is ANZ here as well. So let's get that in perspective here. So really we could look at this as 5 waves up. We could look at it as an A and a B and a C to the upside here. Yeah, there's a couple of things. So we were just going, this is probably the most stable bank out of them. Obviously it's got interest in other places geographically as well. But I think before we sort of, I mean, if Monday opens up bearish and we see ANZ move lower, well, then we can go with that. But, I think that we need to allow it to be rejected here first. So what I mean by that is that if it is positive here today, well, then that's going to move up, isn't it? And if it's going to be weak, it's going to fail there, and then it's going to move down from here. So that would be the logical safe setup to start shorting this. If this just takes out new lows here, then it's worthwhile getting a very small amount, and then we can look how to build that. But yeah, let's just see how we go. This market could still quite easily continue to the upside here. So we don't particularly, and we'll take that top there as the long trade. So we're close here as well of making a decision to be in or out of these banks here. With CBA here, just with that drop in here, if I can just go to maybe an hourly chart, I'll just see maybe a tick chart here. So well, the move down here in terms of a count, if I can just borrow these here, that would be 1 and 2 to here. And this would be obviously 3 into here. I think I can see a little 4th wave in here, so it would be 1 and 2 here, 3 and 4 here. So then we'd be looking for a wave 4 here and a wave 5 here. And then in the bigger picture, if that was bearish, then that would really just be wave 1 here with, if I can borrow these, with an A and a B and to see here for wave 2. So it opens up a much bigger bearish picture, as you can see here. And, you know, that's possibly the case, you know. You know, we've discussed the bigger picture about CBA, you know, on the weekly chart or monthly chart. I think I should just go back there as well for a moment. The thing was with CBA, we're quite clear that this is monthly here, so we're quite clear that that we've got wave 3 and 4 here, and we're heading up for wave 5 here, and we had 1 and 2 in here and 3 in here and wave 4 here. I was just unsure about this move up here. I always felt that this move up here in all the banks was a corrective move, and then that we would be coming off from that point. And pretty much that's what's happened. So, you know, we'd be looking at a move that would come back to the previous lows here, if not even lower down to 65 here. But it's certainly, you know, we do have another move up. I just don't know if that, in our next step as well, from the 80 here, if I can just borrow that here, copy that, put that in here. So it's possible for this to be wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C here, and then move up from that point. So I don't know that just yet. We just have to work this little scenario in here. Yeah, so it's possible for that to be the low or this to be the low here, and we need to work through that. And yeah, I think we're doing it sort of okay. We've made a few mistakes, but I think all in all, we're aware of where we're at to a point, you know. So we'll see if this comes out. I think this move down through here would tie in with the S&P 500 reacting from 2,500, because we're looking for a top there as well. So I think those markets will fall into place at that point. Alrighty, cheers.